transition, gives him a better chance for an offensive rebound.
Nice patience for Decker. Finally takes it in. Hollis Jefferson numbers the other way for the Cats. Johnson.
See, this is what I like about Arizona.
Got 9, the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Now you like this, Reg.
They're going back and forth. One a little John going back between Kaminsky and Tarczewski.
Stanley Johnson.
Oh, this is a great game.
Good fake. How about that distinction? He's now in the Sweet 16 again. There's McConnell. First ball past 12.
Awfully early for D. Davis to pick up a foul.
There's a sensational freshman, Stanley Johnson.
It's a good start for Stanley Johnson.
He's a transfer from Western Michigan. Played there 2 years from Lakewood St. Edward High School in Bay Village, Ohio. And starring second team All-Big East for the Musketeers this season. Defends Johnson here, and Stanley puts it down.
Drives for Uber in Cincinnati, the online taxi service. How would you like your 6'10", 270-pound cab driver to show up?
Well, if he's got the goggles on, here's McConnell with 8 to play in the first half from Los Angeles. 2-seed Arizona, 6-seed Xavier. Stanley Johnson.
Oh my! Woo. And then some shots here. Two guys that can flat out shoot the basketball from deep.
Tarczewski back in. Ristich takes a breather. Arizona 5 consecutive misses. Four and a half to go. Stanley Johnson triple.
The perimeter players running off screens down low.
Thompson slips. Here comes McConnell. The trailing Johnson.
That's good ball movement here by the Tigers early on. We talked about them wanting to play with pace. And if you get a chance to move a great defensive team from side to side, and Stanley Johnson knocked down his first shot.
What a nice move across the lane by Chris Thomas, who picks up his first basket. Thomas averages 12 a game.
And that's his game. We talked about that first shot that he took in his first half, being from behind the arc. He's a slasher. He's a driver.
That's Johnson putting it in. Stanley Johnson. That's told you.
Some competition to kind of push you. Your minutes might be cut a little bit. They took the challenge like, you're not going to take me off the floor. I want to raise my level of play where you absolutely are not going to be able to take me off. He's done just that.
Under 5
player of the year.
Yeah, under 5 to go here in the first half from Portland. Ashley on top. York with a good spin move and a slip. And picked up inside by Johnson, who gets it again. He's hit from outside.
That's been a problem. They've been able to get there, but they've only converted to. In fact, Texas Southern and Arizona, they're both sort of interesting teams in that each team scores more points from the free throw line.
They've won 11 consecutive. He was just pickpocketed by Johnson. 3-on-1. Tarczewski, Johnson with the easy deuce.
Well, that's a good 2-on-1 there by Tarczewski.
Move right there by Gibbs.
And I want to say, Texas is taking on Butler. Butler. Notre Dame has already advanced.
Notre Dame gets the winner of that game, so
I'm foreshadowing.
Yes. Well, the Big 12 certainly hopes they're foreshadowing. You don't need to foreshadow this guy if he's out on.
Oh, nice spin move to get open with the beautiful floater from Madarius Gibbs, who's got 13.
Gibbs just doesn't stop. He continues to attack. I'm really impressed with how hard he plays.
The whole team has played hard for Texas Southern. You know, they knew they were going to be outweighed a lot today, and it showed, the 15th seed, but another valiant try.
You don't have a non-conference schedule against the teams that Texas Southern have without being able to compete, and Stanley Johnson has just been on fire.
Triple-double. No, not really. We're making up the shimmy. But you know, in analytics, the way analytics expand, they may come up with something like that. Another three. Really put in by
a guy who's been benched because he couldn't get it done. That is not true. I'll take Stanley Johnson on my team any day.
I'd take him too as he puts up a three and gets the bounce. That's called championship game, and then it's Connecticut and SMU in the American title game. Johnson leaning in, banks it in. Another team
had a huge summer He's an international kid from Canada, played an international event, also blew up at the Peach Jam. Told me Indiana, Dayton were also interested, but he loved the relationship he had with Dana Altman. He also loved the fact that he could play.
He was on the Pac-12 all-freshman team. There's the Pac.
But he was a teammate of ours with Jamal Wilkes and Greg Lee, and he was just phenomenal in every aspect of the game. Fantastically beautiful player. You ever seen Wes Unseld play?
Highlights.
Do you know that as a freshman, playing freshman basketball, he averaged 36 points a game and 24 rebounds a game at Louisville? You know, he's a two-time All-American. One of only two players in the history of the sport to be MVP as a rookie in the NBA.
Stanley Johnson connects Los Angeles, and in limited minutes, he's played very well again tonight. In the first half, he had 3 assists.
Well, it was in this game down at Oregon that he was pork chopped by Dylan Brooks, and he missed a major part of the season with a concussion.
Johnson on the attack. And Stanley Johnson.
And then the first stretch of the second half as well.
In that game in Arizona, the Wildcats went 15 total minutes without scoring a single point.
And what a flip this is.
Which is seeming an eternity. They've only had a total of 7 points. And the spacing just doesn't look good. Bruins defense in transition has been excellent. And the Wildcats have struggled mightily against the zone.
I was going to say, that's been a difference, Bill.
With Looney up top.
Stanley Johnson.
He usually makes the game-winning play at the end.
Well, there's a terrific steal. Hollis Jefferson. Nice pass. And Stanley Johnson finish.
That is, and they come with an extended press. Gulam on the opportunity of his life right now.
Steve Alford using him to play that point. The position Looney's played a lot tonight in the defense.
And he's had Welsh behind him. Down the lane again.
Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson. Off the
versatility. He fronts the post. Wallace goes right at him. Hangs a hook up there. It's off. Rebound deflected and controlled by Hollis Jefferson. Out it comes to Stanley Johnson. Stanley corkscrews into the air. Soft touch on the move.
On the box.
Kravish right now playing foul free. McConnell to bring it in bounds. Here comes Stanley Johnson. The pull up over Wallace is good.
Just don't see a lot of that.
Hesitation, hangs. Tough shot.
Tough shot, but I don't mind it. I want Jabari Bird being aggressive. Yep. He's a talented player, and you'd rather him be aggressive than sitting back and not looking for himself.
Stanley Johnson can very definitely Jimmy's, and he pulls Cal within 2.
Right back at you. Singer, high ball screen, nobody home because of they were supposed to switch. Knocks it down.
Johnson off the screen, the step back, splash. Was that? Jefferson speeds down the floor, shovels to Stanley Johnson. The left-hand scoop is off. Gathers and taps in the second.
Arizona fans right back down. These Arizona fans have not been a factor, so give Cal credit. They've been able to keep them out of the game pretty much.
Johnson, another 3. Wallace with 19 to lead Cal. 62-49 count. McConnell, nice pitch inside. Boy, he just defend and come down with a rebound. Jackson Cartwright to wheel it into front court.
Now Arizona waits the winner of USC UCLA coming up next. Let's see what a big upset in the 12-5 game yesterday. Elijah Stewart, how big time was he?
Boy, he was something. And the defense of USC in that final 10 minutes when they went to zone, a 1-2-2, really seemed to disrupt.
Oh, you talk to anyone around here, T.J. McConnell is the player of the year in the Pac-12 conference. What a season, what a career that young man has had as he plays his final home game. Johnson on a deep 3, that's good. Talks to kids at a juvenile detention facility in Davenport, Iowa every summer. Just a remarkable story. And what a bright future for that man. Off the floor. Wrapping up his regular season career. Stanford just so big on the interior. McConnell comes up the floor.
Nice step up to the penetration that time by Tarczewski.
Arizona 5th in the country. Locked up their 2nd consecutive conference championship.
And
Beautiful back cut.
Oh, another missed layup. Now, Stanley Johnson has struggled right at the rim. He's not a great...
Well, there was a last-minute spur-of-the-moment thing. I was with my friends from the Grateful Dead, and this is sort of the way things work out like that, where we do what we want. Beautiful move, Stanley Johnson.
Johnson, second basket.
That guy.
Wallace can't finish inside, trying to use the offhand. Here's Johnson off the bounce. Able to hit. That's back-to-back field goals for Stanley Johnson.
Oh, what a great defensive play, Hollis Jefferson.
As Wallace went for the slam, that was denied. Now McDonald beats Johnson for the jam.
Ready to go. Anytime. Please. If I wanted to pick a fight, I wouldn't have waited this long.
Here's Stanley Johnson, who has just 9 points, 4 of 10 shooting.
I played with Maurice Lucas and Danny Ainge.
And Johnson gets the bounce on the three. It's been a while. He's crazy stuff on the show. Here's Johnson driving. And he's able to collect, score, and a foul. Here's Chapman. Got Tarczewski on him. And boy, Chapman almost made that despite Ashley getting a hand on the ball.
How about the 7-footer Tarczewski guarding Chapman?
And hung right with him.
Yep.
Johnson open on the wing. This time he lets it fly and makes him pay. And it's a 9.
They made Johnson shoot it over length.
A steal by Stanley Johnson. And Johnson on the move gets the layup. No comment. I know that you love to wish people happy birthday oftentimes of people that have been dead for 400 years, but how about a living, breathing college basketball player? Caleb Tarczewski, 22 years of age tonight.
Happy birthday, Caleb. Smartest guy academically on this team. You have to have it if you're going to win. Beautiful shot.
And the putback by Johnson, just his second back. He was just 3 of 12 in the first half. He didn't want his team looking past Colorado, and knowing that this crowd can get going and the Buffaloes can get hot, he wants to keep that same demeanor as Stanley Johnson banks it in. If you can't remember, then we'll do it next week. We'll get 2 games next week, Wednesday, Thursday. You'll be there.
Well, a lot of my guys have got in of late.
Don Nelson 3 times, and they were at the best record in the country the last 2 years. That will be a great game on a great day this Saturday, 2 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock, Kansas, Texas, 7 o'clock, Cuse, Duke, 9 o'clock, we'll be in Salt Lake for Utah, Arizona.
That was an event.
Xavier Johnson can't put it back, and here's Stanley Johnson. Arizona leading by 22 at the 4-minute mark. Stanley Johnson draws the foul and gets the basket.
Off the bench. Alford wants a screen. Pulls up for 3 or a long 2 off the back of the iron. Rebound Johnson.
He got hit while he was shooting. That's extraordinary.
Johnson, strong move.
Passing the ball at the end directly to a USC player.
How about what a job Greg Byrne, the athletic director, does here? Stanley Johnson down the lane. Just beat Wildcats. T.J. McConnell, Stanley Johnson, and Hollis Jefferson.
And the Pac-12 chooses 10 men to be on the first team.
On the first team on a 5-man game? Decades ago, who set the foundation of how to play this great game. And now it's coming back alive under Pat Hayden and Andy Enfield, his hand-chosen successor.
Nice blow by Stanley Johnson.
Dangerous. Oh, my gosh.
So anyway, I read the new Sports Illustrated today.
What's that? What was in there?
And there's an article about the Golden State Warriors, and the first section is about a guy named William Walton walking up to USC had 7 offensive rebounds
in the game
in the first half, and USC 4 defensive. That was a bad mix for the Trojans in the conference, and has more overall wins. Although they have at least one that doesn't count.
I don't think that Joe is aware that Stanford is playing so poorly right now. Beautiful. That shot was blocked.
Freshman season it's been for Stanley Johnson. Of course, last year it was Aaron Gordon, one and done, taken by Orlando in the first round. This year it's Stanley Johnson, the freshman, getting all the publicity for Arizona. Goes with the crossover, right hand off the glass, and only 2.
From the outside, 3-point shooting arc.
coming through. We talked about it, last 2 games, he's averaging 22 points a game, so he's shooting with a lot of confidence.
Stanley Johnson, a little gimme.
State has really come to life. I like the ball movement. They're starting to screen and execute their offense a little bit. And Devontae Lacey has certainly come out looking for his jump shot a lot more than he did in the first half. But they're still down 33, Aaron.
There's a long way to go. Johnson, a little shimmy. Almost a carbon copy of that last shot.
Average size, strength, speed, and jumping ability. And anytime you line him up, that's another layup. Timeout, Washington.
Stanley Johnson to the bench.
Angelo Russell, checks him out.
Good player.
No kidding. Don't go out on a limb.
Here's Stanley Johnson fouled. Count the layup. And if you're going to foul him, you got to make sure he does.
Memphis, New Orleans, another city by the river. Same river. Just got washed downstream. Get on the boat.
Head to the game. Kemp has 9 points. Andrew Rangers with 8. McConnell has 7 assists. And Johnson makes it 8 assists for McConnell as Johnson buries the 3 deadhead when you first saw him.
Yeah, a saint of circumstance. An angel of mercy. Delivering the good news. Stanley Johnson right back in your face with the jumper. And so I asked the guy, the kind of person that Lorenzo Romar is noted for developing. Beautiful stick back there. That's just superb. That's Scottie Pippen type basket.
17-point game midway through the second half. Andrew Andrews thought he was fouled. The official says it was a good block.
And speaking to Dr. J, the single most loved, admired, and respected player in all of our lifetimes in the sport of basketball. Look at that shot, Stanley Johnson.
Pretty. Johnson now with 14.
I've been there.
Anderson.
Great defense.
Wow. Hollis Jefferson just took it away. And now a 4-on-1. Stanley Johnson with a monster one-handed jam.
Throw it down.
Stanley Johnson rather out there in the corner. You got Brandon Ashley as well wide open along the wing.
And already Savon Goodman, the decision to start him. He's got a bucket and he's got a block. Number 11 for Arizona State. Johnson. Penetration. And the bank is good.
That's world class right there. And he gets a screen, crosses over. Ron Miller's intense in practice teaching these guys on the defensive end of the floor. You better believe when they set up, it's going to be tough goings for you.
16th in the country, allowing just 58 points a game. It's a huge factor. Set up for Johnson. Long 3 is good. And Stanley Johnson has 5 points. That go in.
That big body. Use that big body. Kept the defense on his left side the entire time. And he got 1 to go.
York kicks it out. Here's Johnson for 3. He's got it.
Beautiful, beautiful touch.
8 points.
Big time dunks. Plays inside.
Physical, right?
Yes.
Feels like it's rubbing off today. And more down low for Arizona State. Johnson, again strong, the soft touch.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's number 31, so I guess his shoulder's okay. He almost turned it over. Now he does. He has it stripped away. Hollis Jefferson to Jackson.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Lakes, tough runner. No good. Rebound by Tarzuski.
That's the way the big fella's supposed to clean up the glass.
Here's McConnell. And another big game, 16 points for him running the show. Johnson with 4 fouls, aggressive all the way home.
Too easy there. He's imposing these.
Looked like he was getting the rebound, but McConnell has his 4th. I'm not sure if they're going to call it possession. McConnell already has 3 steals.
Not how big you are, it's how big you play. And T.J. McConnell, an absolute giant out there.
Stanley Johnson. I
had a tremendous conversation with him at practice today. Another missed shot there for Oregon State.
And Johnson just flies down the floor.
Next year's recruiting class?
Yes.
Top 20 in the country. Not top 20 in the Pac-12 country, but in the country. It's the highest rated class in the history of Oregon State.
2 sons of coaches. Wayne Tinkle's son and Stephen Thompson's son. Stanley Johnson.
Belarus via Israel.
Yes, Roman Sorkin.
Let it fly, Roman. Oh, just off the mark.
He's getting some early minutes. He made a shot at the end of the UCLA game. The guy going to be going. Meanwhile, that's, I think, the
great team already. And one of a few teams that can win the championship.
There's a different shot for Joseph Young moving to left.
Nice.
And Stanley Johnson moving beautifully. What a... And in Oregon right now, Joseph Young is out of the game, so they're scuffling to get shots.
T.J. McConnell.
McConnell strips out to Bassett. And Stanley Johnson.
The sacrifice. Never easy out there. Great skip pass. That's a foul. Just push Karzuski in the back, please.
And guard.
Ooh, Jabari Bird went up there and apparently let that ball go. Another very good shot for Matthews doesn't go in. And Johnson does convert.
You know Arizona's not going to let Matthews go off.
But this goes back to your point, Don, when Cal has the ball. Johnson leaning in on Bird and one.
Not the biggest guy and hasn't been a real inside threat his entire career.
Stanley Johnson taking charge. 7.
Very good. So is there a culture to defend or not?
Well, that was right in the pass. Wallace getting inside, and Wallace now with 10 points tonight.
I'm going to be interested to see as we move forward here as Johnson knocks down.
I love this battle between Nastic and Tarzuski. Both big, rugged, strong guys who like to get physical. And I don't think there's a lot of love lost between Stefan and Caleb. The way it should be.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the half. Johnson, a deep three. He was practicing those for about 25 minutes after shoot around the screen. Into the lane. And knifing through 2 defenders to get that to go. It's the largest lead for Stanford tonight. Only 2 losses on the year for Arizona. At Utah as the 3 goes for Johnson. At Oregon State. South Carolina knocked off the Wildcats last year in Columbia.
So with Jim Plunkett here, what's your take on this deflated balls? I mean, there's very little more disconcerting in life than deflated balls.
Stanley Johnson with a basket. You and Jim can talk about that as well. Arizona's goal is a title. Elite 8 a year ago. Lost to Wisconsin.
Stanley Johnson, what a player.
Great good back. Johnson with the second chance.
Chick Hearn, right? So Chick Hearn, he coined it best. No harm, no foul. Play ball. Let's go.
Johnson driving into Nastic. And Stanley Johnson with another.
Hurdle is just getting started in what promises to be an outstanding career for the next 18 to 20 years.
Tarzuski got away with a foul.
Takes Loveridge, but then got the rebound. So there.
Had the ball.
Johnson this time. Arizona is poised to not
face. Think back to SEC basketball. In the mid-1960s, LSU, as great an athletic program as that is, this is a clinic. How long will Tarzuski sit on that bench if there's even one more basket made? But important minutes here for Deuce Ristich, who will be critically important in a push to the championship for Arizona. That's an offensive foul.
Stanley Johnson takes Chris Reyes in. 16. Arizona has out-rebounded Utah by 16. It's hard to believe that there could even be question in this game. Stanley Johnson is doing
8-foot baskets at the elementary school. Everybody else is just flailing away.
And a steal by Stanley Johnson. Here comes the show.
All game long.
Booker back in and promptly nails a 3. And Askia Booker has 10 of the 12 points for Colorado. Arizona comes right back so they could drive it. Collier's 3 short. And again, McConnell gets the rebound quickly ahead to Johnson. And a beautiful move by Stanley Johnson as he rolls it home.
Jefferson and his defense on the ski of Booker. Booker has not gotten a look at the basket, has not gotten anything since Hollis Jefferson's been on him.
But the movement, there's no movement for Colorado. They stand, they try to dribble one-on-one. It's not going to work against bigger guys. But certainly not against this guy.
Stanley Johnson.
I believe in cake.
Yeah, let's
be a
get
good
rid of this cake here. Cake,
yeah.
This
Now
is
I
very
got
nice,
something
though.
to do.
Thank you, Bill. Congratulations, Dave. The
First transfer of the year.
Tarzuski left open. He can knock that down. Short, though. Stanley Johnson, another offensive rebound and the stick back.
For more, he comes out with a Chopin Nocturne, which is just absolutely spectacular.
Has Cortez learned to play the piano yet, Bill?
He's working on that.
Jay, you're familiar with who Cortez is, right? I believe he's got his own Twitter account.
The Walton Dog, of course.
Stanley Johnson with a three-point opportunity.
Yes, we have. A terrific rotation. One of the tougher shots in the game when you have to shoot off the dribble.
Beavers up by 2. Johnson, the wiggle fake to the baseline. Hang time, and he gets it to fall. Third.
Very confident looking jumper.
You saw it there, 5 for 10, the Beavers from downtown. Ashley, deep 2, gets his own rebound.
Yeah, I knew it was bad as soon as it left his hand. Wisely went for the offensive rebound.
Corner 3, try by the fresh.
Championship game on Monday.
First zone of the night for Oregon. Let's see how Arizona deals with it.
And Stanley Johnson deals with it.
Yeah,
that's a Brooks thought. You're right. Tarzuski did go straight up, but the swipe may have been what did it.
Well, what I was going to say before that play happened is Joe Young's only got 7, and you're only down 3 with a minute to go. So you're in a pretty good spot if you're Oregon.
Boy, Stan, that was a man's move by
entire second half.
Young, 2 out of 6 from the 3, 4 out of 14 shooting night.
Good decision by Hollis Jefferson. Pull it out, run clock.
And Stanley Johnson.
Aggressive already, and they like the talent level of 4 of the 5 starters on this Arizona State team.
He can certainly get to the rim, no question.
Arizona State's won 2 in a row, most recent win over Harvard. Now Johnson comes in. There is a
long way to go. He's going to be a good one. Little flex screen.
Johnson backing his man down across the lane, elevates and knocks it down.
And Goodman on the floor should get some touches instead of turnover. Liberty back.
And Johnson gathered it. Wildcats are shooting just 65% as a team. Second one goes 39-25. McConnell. Look at him move the basketball. Johnson spinning and winning.
And a good non-call.
Barnes. Rebounded by Johnson. He heads into the front court with Tarzuski running teardrop.
Back to Vaughn. 8 to shoot. Contested 3. Hollis Jefferson right in his face.
That's just no offense. Well, you got to get a post touch. You got to get the ball to the baseline. No offense for UNLV.
Ashley passes on the 3. Stanley Johnson in the corner.
Right. I think of myself as more Kobe and LeBron.
Woo! Stanley Johnson finds it on the stick back. Yet another second chance bucket for UNLV. Nobody stops Stanley Johnson.
He's hanging on to one arm, and he uses that other paw to pull that one down.
Yep. Urban Morris is coming to the lineup for UTEP wearing number 20.
And UTEP drops into a zone on the underneath out-of-bounds play.
There's Johnson. McConnell sorting it out for the Wildcats, and Johnson's 3 is good.
Well, he does not hesitate.
The board to make it an 11-point Wildcat lead. And there's the turnover again. And Johnson in the open floor. Runner, no good. They scramble with 4 seconds.
What
to
a pass.
Tarzuski.
Johnson for the lead, and he got it. A 3 at the horn for
this. You almost got to play station-to-station basketball if you're the Miners here in half two, don't you?
I think you do. You play it in 4-minute segments. They've got to get Hunter some help. In the first half, he had 6 of their 11 field goals and 9 of their 15 rebounds.
Here is the rookie Johnson teeing up another 3.
Boy, that is his third.
By Petros, but it's just not happening. The defense is too good, and Tarczewski just keeps pounding up and down the floor.
Here's McConnell. Elliott Pitts in the game for Arizona.
I love how the ball never stops.
And Stanley Johnson with the bucket.
Intercollegiate athletics.
Off the bench tonight after starting the last 7 games for Oakland. Stanley Johnson banks it in straight on. Time to be
higher continent of North America. It all comes back to defiance.
54-31 Arizona. Defying Oakland right now. Stanley Johnson and 1. Trickles out to Nick Daniels who misses. And here comes McConnell. 3-on-1.
Beautiful.
Again, and 1 for Stanley Johnson.
The size of Central Park in New York City.
3 times the size of
That's how big the mushroom is.
organism.
That's how big this lead is.
78-49. Arizona has led by as many as 33 here tonight. And they jumped on him from the get-go.
Beautiful swing pass, Ashley.
Stanley Johnson a 3. Tarczewski a tough shot. Stanley Johnson. The putback. A big impact on that. A steal.
He would prefer not to.
Hollis Jefferson to Stanley Johnson.
Excellent help by Caleb Tarczewski. That was a big-time defensive play by the big man. And now numbers for Arizona. And the reverse will go for the freshman. A little bit of everything. 4 rebounds a game, better than 4 assists per game, better than 2.5 steals per game.
He's been all conference every year that he's played college basketball. Started out at Duquesne. He was all Atlantic 10, all Pac-12. He knows how to play. The only thing he doesn't do, Dan, he doesn't shoot it. But when the game's on the line, he makes plays.
Stanley Johnson juggles, recovers, and finishes. Irving elevates to the free throw line, left it short, and down with the rebound is Johnson.
I'll take obscure team names for 400, Alex.
You got me. You're my lifeline when I need help.
You're mixing metaphors and TV shows. It's kind of like, Stanley Johnson's shoes. What shoes does he wear? Whatever shoes he wants.
LeVert slips, and here come the Wildcats. Johnson.
Ricky Doyle buried right underneath the rim.
And a steal by Johnson. Showtime.
Is the Cardinals?
It is the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Boy, you're lucky you
but
have
it's
a good
the pick.
memory.
But it's the pick the Pope Cardinals.
That's right.
It's not like
That's
the Red
right.
Bird Cardinals.
York the lob, and Johnson. Subs now for Arizona, including Jackson Cartwright coming back into the game, the freshman point guard.
Jackson Cartwright does a great job of playing without turning it over.
Wow. Syracuse, they beat Oregon. They played into the final minute against Villanova. Now they've lost 2 at home to teams they should have beaten, and they're getting run out of the gym here today.
Secondary conference, the WAC conference, changed so much over the years, though. The evolving participants.
Picked up by Johnson after York lost it and won. The freshman Stanley Johnson. Added team went on to win the WAC regular season crown. They lost the semifinals of the WAC tournament. They lost in the NIT, the game at Cal. Stanley Johnson fouled and won. Points for the junior. There's a 3 missed by York. Stanley Johnson rips the rebound away.
They had a nice little tribute on the halftime scoreboard about Stanley Johnson. A lot of interesting stuff about him.
Here he is. And he nails a 3. Here's a steal. Here goes Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson. And
to UTEP, going to Vegas. Conference play also. And what Stanley Johnson gets the roll.
In just a few. Who does that? Ronnie Hollis Jefferson does.
Pass deflected. Stanley Johnson is steal. The floater gives Arizona the lead. Brent Guinness in the lane. Gets the rattle to go.
Wow. Guinness just with an extra dribble and exploded up into his jump.
First points for Kyle Grant Guinness as Stanley Johnson counters for the Wildcats.
Man, the shot fake, one dribble which took him into the lane, and then before the defense could get to him, flips it up and in.
Stanley Johnson wide open, three!
But just haven't gotten off to a good start here.
Inside 8 minutes left in the half.
Good double.
Stanley Johnson from deep. Ties the game.
Gardner-Webb making him pay. And it's a tie game. 4:20 to go in the first half.
16 fouls now on the Bulldogs, so the next one will put Arizona into the bonus. Stanley Johnson, three.
The way he plays, he's going to shoot some free throws.
And it rattles off, but Stanley Johnson a putback. Elliott pitch short of three, but here is Hollis Jefferson. Stanley Johnson with a follow. 67-49 U of A. Stanley Johnson, another three.
Of Hayes.
It's like an outfielder going back to the wall and not realizing where the wall is and had more room than he thought along the sideline there. Stanley Johnson with the
to recruit some of the best players in the country, and the front court has gotten crowded the last couple of years.
He sat out last year as a transfer. Highly touted. He was picked the preseason newcomer of the year in the Mountain West Conference. And he's off to a good start, averaging better than 7 points per game and 4 rebounds. He's shooting 75% from. Amen. Rondé Hollis Jefferson had it bounced off, but right
to understand what they can get away with.
Blocked Stanley Johnson's shot. Pitts ran it down to the corner. Johnson says, try to block that. Holy missed the floater. Angelo Cho, the former Arizona Wildcat, missed from in tight. Stanley Johnson the push. The scoop goes in. Sean Miller, by the way, is still 10th all-time in Division I history in free throw percentage at 88.5%. Stanley Johnson. DJ McConnell back on the floor. Stanley Johnson got it back. Tough to tell if he was trying to pass or shoot, but it wound up back at his points per game last year.
About 20 pounds heavier than he is right now his senior year in high school. He had a lot of people recruiting him, and they backed off because he put the weight on, and Kansas State stuck with him, and the rest is history. He's going to be a very good player.
We're told he got heavy because his sister was pregnant, and she was eating pretty much whatever she wanted to, so Marcus joined in on the same stuff which she was eating. There's the first three of the ball game for Arizona.
Pass the ball around the perimeter, surround the paint, make you shoot contested threes and tough twos, just like that one.
Off balance, Allen couldn't hit one and got him a shot. McConnell flips it up ahead. Johnson off the window and good.
Excellent pass play. Started with the rebound. Active on the offensive end is Brandon Ashley, 4 for 7 from the field. He's in the game with 2 fouls.
Johnson buries that one. It's a three for the freshman. Schamberger will pull up. And that one tracked down by York.
See, on a possession like that, when York gets that long rebound, I would love to see McConnell, Johnson, sprinting the lanes and try to hit ahead like they did earlier in the first half when McConnell hit Stanley Johnson and he got the nice 10-footer. Arizona not putting enough pressure on Missouri defensively when they hold them to one and done.
Johnson pulls up and one. And a freshman will go.
And experience in T.J. McConnell. Well, an instant star in Stanley Johnson playing the passing lane, getting the steal.
A lot of time talking to his team about Luke Nelson, making sure they know where he is.
Oh, he's a good player, and he's one of those players that if he gets his first couple going, he could have a huge night.
And there are the first points. Stanley Johnson.
The half court, and when you take away the paint, which NJ does, now you got to rely on more perimeter shooting, and that's one of the question marks about this Arizona team. We talked about it. Do they have enough perimeter shooting? Do they have guys that are confident enough that when they are open, they let it fly every single time?
Stanley Johnson arced it up over NJ. Good.
That's an interesting.
Nice inbounds. Taking advantage.
Themselves only took 6 the other night in that San Diego State loss, and that time knocking it in.
Big size advantage for the Wildcats underneath with Tarzuski and Ashley.
Yeah, and Arizona obviously wanting to get it inside.
Stanley Johnson.
Percent.
We welcome those of you just joining us here to Tucson at McHale Center. The number 2 Arizona Wildcats against Cal State Northridge is standing on the push. Nice crossover to get into the lane. Left it short, and McConnell, the defensive rebound. Arizona's missed their last 6 shots. Long 2, Stanley Johnson. Arizona led by as many as 16 in the first half. And the rebound. Ashley hits the deck. Finds Johnson. He's fouled. And 1 out of 2 from Parks. And UC Irvine last year, they were 23-12. They won the Big West title, and they lost in the NIT. Here's Johnson. Rattles in a 3. Aaron Parks, now at 11, hitting both. Inside 5 minutes to play. Coming up, some of you will leave us. Pick up UCLA and Coastal Carolina. Ball in Pavilion. Right back to Johnson.
Yeah, that
championship game at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara coming up in early December against whoever shakes out for the logjam. Top of the South as Johnson lost the ball and it still went in.
6'8" wing to defend Ashley. And the Wildcats possession, 1:36 left here in the half. T.J. McConnell's father is here, along with a contingent from Western Pennsylvania. They were at practice today. Johnson into the lane. Again goes left hand. Robinson will come out and get a hug from his coach. Arizona will swing it in play. Hollis Jefferson along with Jackson Cartwright, Gabe York, Caleb Tarzuski, and this man on the spin. That would be Stanley.